Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel, and the channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. Well, it's that time of the year. 2024 has gone by, and it's been a tradition of mine now that annually I pick up a bunch of notebooks, journals, paper, different paper. I test it, see what I like. I'm a little bit of a fanatic. Well, you know, I collect pens, I collect inks, and I also collect paper. And I've put out already 2 comprehensive guides on fountain pen friendly paper. They are they're not meant to be consumed all in one shot. They're meant to be guides, reference guides. So use the timestamps wisely and consume it slowly, so to speak. I want to get them all in there so you have them all in a 3-part series. This is going to be number 3. In 2024, I bought a bunch of paper. I don't know how many notebooks, but dozens and dozens. And what I figure I do for you today is go over them briefly. They have been looked at and commented on throughout the year in various reviews or in some of my weekly recaps, but I figure I put them all together here and give you my point of view. You have part 1s and part 2 that have already been published, and 2024 is the year of part 3. So stay tuned. The way I've divided up the categories is, first of all, I have my TOMOE River paper category. So all of the new notebooks or journals that I've purchased this year that are TOMOE River, with TOMOE River paper. Then I have what I call TOMOE River alternatives. So it's a very, very good paper, up to par to TOMOE River, and obviously fountain pen friendly, otherwise we wouldn't deal with them at all. But they are really so good that oftentimes they've been compared or used as alternatives to TOMOE River. You have to understand something. For me, TOMOE River is the baseline. It is the best for me. And I'll explain to you why when we get into more detail in some of the notebooks. The third category is the category of fountain pen friendly paper that I've picked up and that I categorize maybe in a third level. They're fountain pen friendly, but not the best, and for various reasons. And that's the third category. Then the fourth category are the ones that are really just pen friendly and barely fountain pen friendly, but low cost and meant for daily consumption. And, you know, write notes, throw them away. They're not meant to be notebooks, journals that you keep. For example, notepads where you scribble notes on for the day and then chuck them out, that sort of thing. And then I have a category of pocket books or pocket notebooks, smaller sized, and we'll take a look at those. So there you have it. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so this is the first category that I entitled TOMOE River. These are all my TOMOE River, new TOMOE River products that I purchased this year. The first one is probably my favorite. Not probably, it is my favorite. It's from Nanami Paper, 7 Seas Writer. It's a notebook, a 480-page notebook. It's got a line. It's lined, in other words. It's not dotted. It's not grid. It goes from very, very nicely. As you can see, it is perfectly, it opens up and not a problem. Fairly thin paper, Tomoe River paper, the best one. This is what I use all the time in my #1 journal, #1, and it's the writer. You have similar products that I've reviewed in the past that has blank paper, dot, and grid. Same company, same quality, except different type of paper in terms of whether it's lined or not. Okay, so that's my favorite. #2 is from Taroko, and we've got 2 products from Taroko. I've got this Enigma notebook. Again, very, very good quality. Let me just get it out of there for you. As you could see, beautiful cover. This is blank paper, okay? They say that there's some imperfections in here, but I gotta tell you, I can't see the imperfections, and I bought this at a deal on Etsy. So that's Enigma notebook. And I also have a reporter, Taroko, but this is in the form of a notepad. Again, it's got spiral, so you can use it as a notepad, as a reporter notepad, in fact. So that's #2. These are the 2 Taroko products I have for you. I have this one, which is a little bit bigger than A5, but smaller than A4. I think they refer to it as B5. This is paper from Danica 58, and it's referred to as the 84 GSM paper. Very good, and excellent quality. So that's the Danica 58. Then this is another favorite of mine. It's a product. These are notebooks from a company or from a brand called I always get it wrong. Wonderland 222. I have 3 versions here, different sizes, okay, but serve all the same purpose. However, these are meant to be like Abonici or Obonici replacements, so small grid. Okay, they've got number here for your to-do list. It's kind of divided into 4 parts if you want to, but it has no dates, so it's kind of a freestyle, and it's meant to replace Obonichi, if you will. Some of us don't like all of the clutter and the dating, etc., etc. You want a freestyle Obonichi. This is it. Wonderland 222. Similarly, Obonichi takes out, as a product every year, basically notebooks that don't have dates, and you can get them in 2 forms. You can either get actually 3. You can get the grid version, you can get the lined version, or you can get the blank version. I bought a bunch of them because they are the original Tomoe River paper. By the way, all these products are original Tomoe River. They're not Sanson except for one, and I'll show you in a second. I've kind of hoarded them wherever I can put my hands on any notebook that has original Tomoe River. I've purchased it so I have plenty of these, I have plenty of these, I have plenty of those, and I have plenty of these, just because it's going to last me a lifetime. There you go. The next one is a curious product that I bought on Amazon, but it's Tomoe River. It's not my favorite type. It's kind of this dotted style, cream, but very inexpensive. And it's on Amazon, and I'll list it. It's referred to as the Puma paper company with Tomoe River paper. So there you have it. That's Puma. And then I have the Soul Sanson on my list here, the new Sanson that I've purchased. It's the Sanson Tomoe River writing pad from Yamamoto paper. Again, it's a blank, so you can use guide sheets if you need a lined guide, if you will, or a grid guide. So that's Sanson for us. So there you have it. Those are what I would term to be Tomoe River paper in that category. Excellent, excellent paper. Okay, now we're next category, if you will, and that's the category of Tomoe River alternatives, but very good alternatives, if you will, but not quite there, in my estimation. This is another Danica 58 product. I recommend it. They're not expensive. It's referenced as B775 GSM paper. Very nice paper. This is all blank, very thick, but fountain pen friendly paper. You can get them in all kinds of sizes. This is the bigger size, not the A4. I think they refer to it as the B5 or the B6. I forget now. But it's certainly bigger than A5 and smaller than A4. So that's Danica. Next product, which is just a fabulous, fabulous paper that I've discovered, is this Aerofull paper. It is expensive. These are the loose sheets, and this is a kind of grid notebook. Very, very good. I recommend them if you can, tolerate the price. So Aerofull, very, very good, and your inks really come out well in this type of paper as well. So that's Aerofull. Next one is a annual favorite of mine now. Obonichi for Canadians, anyway, for me in Montreal. If I ordered it, when you include taxes and custom duties and transport, an Obonichi full year calendar notebook costs me about $85. This is an alternative to Obonichi, and it costs $25 on AliExpress. And I don't know for the life of me what paper this is, but to me, it writes like Tomoe River. And so it's the best of both worlds. It gives me a daily journal. It gives me weekly, monthly, with a little tab there as well. I put in my leather journal like this, my leather cover for the year, and that becomes my daily office journal, if you will. So that's Kimbor. Kimbor product, excellent Kimbor. Again, all of these products will be listed down in the description. What have I got next? I got Endless. This is kind of regalia paper, ruled paper, a recorder. I frankly am not fond of regalia paper. I don't think I've used this notebook, or maybe just for testing purposes. But I thought I'd mention it. It is an alternative, and some people really like it. The notebook is a hardcover notebook, so and well priced, I would say. As though for those of you who like regalia paper, it's got a little more tooth, and it's a little thicker. There you go. The recorder is in a notebook style. They also have pads that I reviewed last year. Notepads that you can tear off sheets, tear off notepads. That's another one. This is a Japanese product by the name of Logical Prime. Excellent, excellent paper. I find it very similar to in the sense, very similar to Rhodia in the sense that it's very coated, so very slippery. That's I don't enjoy that too much. Sanson and, for example, Midori are a little toothy. This one's a little bit too slippery for me, too coated, and then that's why Tomoe River kind of falls in between. But nonetheless, this is an excellent, excellent paper for those of you who want to buy an alternative to Rhodia and just try something new. This Logical Prime products are excellent. From Japan as well, I have this Ito bindery. This is in a smaller version. I think this is the B6, they call it. Grid style. Excellent, excellent paper. Again, a little too coated for me, but nonetheless, very good paper. As you can see, it doesn't, there's no feathering, there's some see-through, but see-through that's tolerable, but a little more see-through than in Tomoe River, and that's the difference. Whereas in the Logical Prime, you have very, very little see-through. Let me just show you a page, as you could see here. Very little see-through, no feathering at all for the Logical Prime. This is Midori. This is MD paper, pad cotton. Well, folks, you know Matori paper, very, very good paper. Like I said, a little bit toothy for me, but nonetheless a very excellent paper that's very well recommended and very popular. Let's go here. This is another Japanese product by the name of Usari Notebook, 5mm grid, A5 side, made in Japan. There you have it. So it's a little bit a bigger grid than the ones you will find in Nobunichi, if you will. The paper is fountain friendly, very thick. So you got almost no see-through there, not even any ghosting. Again, very smooth for me, maybe too smooth, but excellent alternative to Tomoe River. What have we got here? Here I've got two products from Clairefontaine, and you folks must know Clairefontaine. This is a little bit different. Rarely see Clairefontaine paper with this cream paper, if you enjoy that cream paper. Very thick lines. Clairefontaine, Flying Spirit notebook, very good. You're all familiar with Clairefontaine. Another Clairefontaine product is this pupitre style. Again, it's like a notebook style. And, you know, a Clairefontaine paper, your inks don't stand out as much, but clearly fountain pen friendly and top-notch alternative to, in my view, to Tomoe River. Then I've got Fabiano. I finally found some Italian paper that's decent. I find Italian paper not the greatest, expensive, but this Fabiano paper, it's got a little bit of tooth, much thicker than Tomoe River, but less than Midori, and as you can see, very fountain pen friendly. Here, just tore off. So, you know, if you're looking for an alternative with a little bit of more tooth, Fabiano, if you can find it on sale, I think I got this on Amazon, excellent product. Here I got the famous Life notebooks. I got three versions here. I've got the Noble Note, I've got the Margin. Again, the Margin is a big grid with kind of a red margin on the side. This is very good paper as well. An excellent, it's in between Midori and Tomoe River, very smooth, very nice, fountain pen friendly, of course, excellent binding, and very little ghosting, and there's no feathering in these products. Same thing with this Life Noble product. This is a little more on the creamy side, so if you enjoy that kind of variation, you can get this Noble section. And this is a yet to use, but it's 100 seat. I bought it on special, but it's a small. Oh no, here we go. It's a very small grid, hardly noticeable. I bought it for that reason, but you could see that I put in my title, and it's very thick, very smooth, and no ghosting, no feathering. So those are three Life products that Life is always a good fountain pen friendly paper. Then I have Yamamoto. I showed you the Sanson earlier. Here it is. These are the three notebooks I bought from Yamamoto. You've got the Sanson paper, which really is an alternative to Tomoe River original. You've got bank paper. Now, bank paper is just fabulous. Well recommended. It's very thin, and as you can see, and the ink just stands out so nicely, and very fountain pen friendly. So that's bank paper, Yamamoto. And this is Cosmo Airlight paper. And the Cosmo Airlight, we all know, brings out the ink probably even better than Tomoe River. A little bit of tooth. You got to be careful also when you put your fingers, the sweat from your fingers kind of affects this paper. And when you write over it, it'll kind of skip on you. The oil of your fingers on this paper, Cosmo Airlight, unfortunately, is a little bit of a problem. But, you know, that's minimal criticism there. So that's the Yamamoto paper. So there you have my top Tomoe River alternative notebooks, paper, and journals. Okay, in the third category, I call it the barely made it category. In other words, these are notebooks that I thought would work out for me, fountain pen friendly sort of notebooks, but barely fountain pen friendly. That frankly, other than this one, we'll get to this one in a second because it's completely different and a lot of fun. I probably would not recommend these notebooks. Let's start with this, the Phantom of the Opera Wearingle. I purchased this. It's a dual notebook in there. Part of the reason was this leather cover, and you get two notebooks in there, a Phantom of the Opera, and very attractive. But when it comes to paper, little surprised at Wearingle. You would think that they would, given their inks, they would make much better paper than this. Very thick, almost cardboard. But there's ghosting here. There is lots of ghosting. There's feathering on this paper. Frankly, very rough. I would not recommend it. These two, they're very attractive. They go together with this nice notebook, and that's what drew me to this. And given Wearingle's reputation for inks, I figured their notebooks would be outstanding. Far from it. So unless you really like that cover, I think this is overly priced. I would not recommend it. Second is what they call book note. I was attracted by the look. It's Japanese, but again, not favorite paper. The paper is very thick, and as thick as it is, you still see ghosting. You still see some feathering. Look at this, where the swatches goes right through, which sometimes is to be expected, but not this bad. I frankly would not recommend this paper unless you get it on sale. It does open night. The binding is nice. It's kind of a cream grid with a red grids, but there are much better paper around for a lot less. So that's notebook. If you ever see it and tempted by it, I would kind of look elsewhere. I threw this in. This is a Montegrappa notebook paper that I got when I purchased one of my pens. If it comes with the pen, why not? But there's some feathering here. There's some ghosting, and it's extremely thick, almost like cardboard. So it's not the type of paper that I would necessarily buy, but if it comes with the pen and it's free, why not? Penco was recommended to me by a viewer. This is very inexpensive, so if you want an inexpensive notebook, as you can see, it doesn't stay open as well as some of the others, but very inexpensive, and can do the job. I would say, kind of very, very nice size, very smooth. So it probably do the job, and very, very inexpensive with this kind of plastic cover. So you want to throw this in your bag to take some notes on the road, so to speak. I would recommend this if you can find it at the right price. So there you go. Next one is, this is the notebook that came in with one of my covers, Italian book covers or notebook covers that I purchased. Where is it? Do I have it here? No, I don't. That I purchased in Italy, and frankly, very thick. And after a while, my pen stopped writing. It's as if my pens were picking up particles of the paper. The nibs were. So I stopped using it, unfortunately. But oftentimes you'll find these type of notebooks in Italian hard-covered leather cover sort of offerings, extremely expensive, but I don't recommend the paper. This one I purchased for my B-roll just because it has my name on it, Vincent. It's not the greatest paper. It is a Life product, however, so it's not bad. It's just very thick, and I don't know. It doesn't bring out the best in the writing, in my view, but nonetheless, fountain pen friendly paper. That's Vincent. This one is a fun paper. This is onion skin paper, so this is my onion skin notebook. I mean, the ink just goes on really nice if you want to have some fun with that. but you know, it's not meant to be a permanent journal, but it's meant to have some fun. So I figured I threw that in. That's onion skin paper, but it's nice to get it in a notebook form. They call it the onion skin journal. So that was fun to buy. So there you have a series of barely made it sort of notebooks that I purchased this year. Okay, the next category are in fact A4 size. It's not my favorite size. It's a little too big for me. But other than when I take notes, for example, my trial notes, I'm a trial lawyer. During a trial, I prefer to have in fact, even the legal pad comes in handy just because you can get more notes on the same page, if you will. But for fountain pen therapy, it's not the greatest. But I figured I'd show you some of the products I purchased in 2024. We'll start here. This is an interesting product. This is a Clairefontaine recycled forever paper made in France, which is, I would say, it doesn't have the smooth quality of the regular Clairefontaine because it's recycled paper, but very fountain pen friendly, just like it's the main product. It's kind of a thicker paper. There is some ghosting, but very little. And that's a very thick line there. But for daily use, if you like notebook, spiral notebooks, it's an alternative. I think it's a little bit cheaper as well. Next product, which I really recommend, is this Kokoyu Campus paper. Again, for people who like Rhodia and like Clairefontaine, this is excellent paper. Again, it's kind of smooth, too smooth for me, but very, very good. And it comes in these loose leaves. You can buy kind of binder mechanisms to put them in binders and stuff, often used by students. So this is excellent fountain pen friendly paper. Recommended. Then, of course, you've got Clairefontaine products. This year, I kind of practiced my handwriting. I went from a handwriting that was straight up, if you will, to one that was a little more slanted, more script. And I used these Clairefontaine, what do they call it, paper? One second. They call it, Say paper. It's this kind of a grid, often seen, French paper as they call it, and it helped practice. I would practice my handwriting on these sheets. So for those of you, if you watch Shaq MD, he swears by this paper. That's all. That's the only paper he uses in any of his videos, anyway. Again, it's Clairefontaine paper, and it has a tendency to go on light. The pen goes on lighter and thinner and smoother, but a bit too smooth for me. And I got a variety of Clairefontaine paper. I even have this kind of in a notebook form. There we go. Again, I was practicing my handwriting here. It's excellent paper, especially for notes. It's just I'm very peculiar about this. Otherwise, people swear by this type of paper. Next one on the list is this Stalogy that many view as a Tomoe River alternative. Found this pad. This comes in lined versions, blank versions, or in this grid version, which is not easy to find, but it's nice because you have numbers on top, divisions, and you have to-do lists. So the paper is very, very, very smooth. Again, just a tiny bit too smooth for my liking, but I do have it there. This is Rhodia. I bought two lined versions. One with the you can get them either with the spiral version, where very practical, or you can get it with this perforated version where you can perforate your pages. I use this for setting up some of my YouTube videos where I want to just lay out a kind of table of contents lay out my long videos, just to plan them out, so to speak. And then I have my Tomoe River A4 paper, which is not lined. It's from Danica 58. It's good Tomoe River paper, and I use guide sheets, be it this version or this version as well. I think this is Sanson and this is the original Tomoe River. But Danica 58, again, can provide that for you at a much cheaper price if you're into A4 paper. So there you have my A4 notebooks for 2024. Okay, now we have our next category, which is generally pocketbooks. I love these small pocketbooks, but I really went out all this year planning for my vacation. Part of my recap was that I was trying to choose what pocketbook I would bring with me for taking quick notes on my vacation in Italy, where I visited, pen stores, etc., etc. Jot down some notes, quick notes. And part of that hunt was I gathered a bunch of notebooks, and I figured at the same time it would facilitate this review because I knew it was coming. So I'll deal with this one at the end because this is the one I ended up choosing for my vacation. So we'll put this aside for the time being. First one is Good Impressions. It's very similar to the ink journal notebook that I have, and we'll deal with those in a second. This is kind of a Obonichi Weeks style, so it's thin, and you can put that in your bag or in a pocket, and it's Tomoe River paper. You can get this on Etsy, all sizes, including the small size. This is a little bit of a thicker version, again from Danica 58. It's got a grid, and this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is probably Cosmo Air Light paper, but you can get it in this size, a little thicker though, but on the thinnish. So it's kind of smaller than an A5, almost half size. So those are your two more kind of vertical shaped notebooks. This is the Nimosine. They have all kinds. This is beautiful paper, by the way. I've reviewed it in the past. You can get it in all sizes. And I had ordered this thinking that this might prove to be useful on vacation. The paper is very, very smooth. Again, too smooth for my liking, but very popular. It's got perforated line here so you can tear it off nicely. It's got a very nice plasticky sort of a backing, good spiral, good quality, excellent company, very much recommended, even if I don't like that slippery feel. Others swear by it. So there you have it. But I found that it was a little too big, so we'll put that aside. Next is these CD notebooks from Japan. Again, they come in the CD notebook. You can get them bigger size. In fact, you can get A4. I found these little guys to be very, very useful. The paper is thick and very, very slippery, very smooth, fountain pen friendly to the maximum. This is excellent premium paper. So a nice little notebook. If you like Rhodia style paper, again, this is very similar. Speaking of which, where is my Rhodia? I thought I had a Rhodia here somewhere. I'm missing my Rhodia paper. Oh, here it is. Yeah, speaking of which, here's your Rhodia small notebook. Typical Rhodia paper. And this one is in graph or grid style. So that's that. We'll save the Tomoe River for last. This is the Stalogy that I mentioned earlier in the A4 size, except this comes in a small A6 size. Again, very good paper. Some see it as a real Tomoe River alternative. This one's a grid style, as you can see. Very nice. Lots of pages in small, compact, very nice binding, good quality. This is the Oasis notebook. here again, it comes in different sizes. Students swear by this type of, at least Japanese do. It's got this funny kind of grid, almost grid dot. It serves as a line, as a grid, and as a dot all at once. I'm not sure the camera picks that up. There you go. But very, very interesting paper. Excellent, just excellent paper. Take a look at that. I mean, you got, first of all, the inks really come out nicely, and it's pretty fountain pen friendly compared to some of the other ones we saw. Even these thick inks just don't go through. So Oasis notebook, excellent, excellent. This is Tomoe River paper from Sterling Ink. They make beautiful Tomoe River notebooks of all sizes, good alternative to Tomoe River and Obonichi. Some people swear by this. This is a little grid style, the Obonichi style. It's got this gold decorative page there. The binding is decent. The quality is very good. So if you're interested in Tomoe River, there you go. You got my Life Noble. I showed you the Life notebooks earlier, except this comes in mini size. And again, look at this. I mean, these are thick, very shimmering inks, and, barely notice them on the other side. So very fountain pen friendly. A little too smooth for my liking, but good paper. I almost brought this one with me. This one was a favorite of mine when I saw it. It's called grain paper. There you go, Midori, and for taking notes, quick notes on the go. I tried it out. I brought this once on the cruise, and very fountain pen friendly paper. So if you want a small notebook where you can really small, you can tuck that in a purse or in a bag or in your pocket. This is excellent. I went with another one, but this one was almost a close winner for traveling. Yeah, excellent travel little notebook. This is another pocket book. I found this to be less fountain pen friendly paper. As you could see, a lot of ghosting, and the paper, and there was some feathering as well. So this one is from Life notebook, pocket notebook. Not the best, but if you're going to do quick notes and are not fussy, and you just want quick reference with a hardcover, good price, Life notebook is very good. So this is we'll get to the Tomoe River ones. This is the Kimbor version. This is the A6 version, Kimbor, of the Obonichi A6, except it's freestyle. So you got freestyle there without dates, okay? But again, the paper is fabulous, just absolutely fabulous, and well recommended. So this is the Kimbor. Last year, I believe I reviewed the A6 Kimbor that came with dates, with the calendar, the Obonichi one, Kimbor. And this year, I decided to buy just a freestyle. Very nice, very nice. Now, that gets me to my 3 Tomoe River products. First of all, this is the Tomoe River paper from Sake. Do I get that right? Sake TP. Very nice. I bought them. I just bought these, actually. This is one of the reasons why they're not even open. But I bought one that's both of them that are grid, 68 GSM, as you could see. Excellent paper. I mean, these things stand on their own. Just beautiful notebooks. I have A5 size of these, but again, because it's Tomoe River original, I'm kind of collecting them and hoarding them for the future. This is another one that I'm hoarding, of several of these. Again, this is the Nami paper that I mentioned to you earlier that I swear by, except this is the small A6 version, and very good. This is Tomoe River paper. So if you want Tomoe River paper in an A6 size grid, this is excellent paper. And then, of course, is my winner, the one that I took with me on vacation, which is this a cafe, but in a B6 size. So it's a little bit bigger, and it was lined. And I use this on my vacation, take quick notes. So that's presently, this is my notebook that I have with me when I just lounging in front of television or surfing on my iPad, and I find an interesting product or something to look into or ideas. This is kind of my notebook for ideas every day. That's why it's in a special cover with my AdMock M400 there. So there you have it with a little gadget here to put your pens in. So this I keep next to me when I'm watching television or surfing or reading. So there you have it. That's my lineup 2024 of pocket notebooks. The next category, which I decided to throw in, and I'm not sure this has been reviewed by me in the past, and if it is, or if it was, please bear with me, but I figured I'd share with you some swatching, ink swatching alternatives and paper. The first one is this color swatch book from Waringal, which is really not bad, folks. It has, let me just give you a blank page just to give you an idea of what it looks like. First of all, it's only on one side, so you don't ink. No, that's not true. Is it true? Yeah, it's only on one side, and you got these little bottles that you swatch with two lines to put the name. So, for example, here's an example of my swatching, and the inks stick out pretty nicely, surprisingly enough. And this is almost like cardboard stock, okay? But the inks look very, very nice there. So that's one alternative. I started, but I then realized I had just too many to keep up. So I stopped, but it did give me a chance to review this for my channel, and I would recommend it. Somebody who wants to swatch their inks and put them all in one notebook, either by color or by brand. This Waringal color swatch book, very, very good. Second alternative is that I bought this binding, these plastic binder sort of rings, put on a Clairefontaine cover. And what I did is I took TOMOE River A4 paper with a puncher, and this was, for a time being, was my swatching of inks by brands as opposed to by color. So I would have here here are all my Jacques Arbin, for example. This is all my Pen BBS and my Blue Oyster, my Roger Klingler, etc., etc., etc. There again, I found myself using swatches by color as opposed to by brand. So if a particular pen I wanted to put black ink, typically I wouldn't look at, I couldn't remember off the bat which black ink, which company has a black ink. So I found it not practical enough, although it's really pretty because you got them all in one page. But if you want them by brand, there you go. That could be an alternative for you, and you can keep adding sheets as you go along. Okay. The next alternative is what a lot of people do, is use these swatch cards. I just found the cards not to reflect properly the inks, especially if I use TOMOE River paper. And then at one point I was cutting out TOMOE River paper, and I found it just too tedious. But this is another very good, and it's portable. You can remove it and compare. This is another, and you can put them in, in different, you can put them in a ring if you want. I put them in these plastic sheets. These are sheets normally used for like baseball cards or stamps. And you got all by color. And there again, I stopped swatching them at one point when I realized what I really wanted. And I'll show you what I ended up with, which is this, and I've mentioned this many, many times. This is Good Ink Impressions, the ink journal, and you can buy different colors. So I got all my green inks all swatched here, and the way it works, it's got a box, the box to swatch your ink, brand, the name of the ink and the date you bought it if you want to add the ink. So for example, this one has all my green inks, and I still am in the process of completing all the green inks that I have in my collection. I'm almost there. This has all my blue inks, and so on and so on and so on. I've got the orange, the red, the purple, I've got the gray, etc., etc. I didn't take them all out, so I got a color for essentially all the colors of my inks. This to me is the best alternative. So if I'm looking for a blue ink, take out my blue binder, go through my blue pages, say, okay, which ink do I want to use today? And then I go on my shelf and I pick out the ink. So there are the alternatives for ink swatching. Okay, the next category are notepads, at least legal pads, so to speak. I use these for trial notes, or just taking notes in files, and even kind of disposable paper, if you will, where you don't want to spend a ton of money on TOMOE River paper, A5 size. You need an A4 size. So these are the ones that I chose in 2024 that I've been using, and I thought I'd share with you. The first one is Cambridge. I think Cambridge surprised me quite a bit. I used this 1.1 stub with shimmering ink, and you can actually see the shimmer. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Very nice, very little feathering that shows on the paper at all. Nice thick stock, but there was some ghosting on the other side. But don't forget, that's thick ink. So with normal Waterman ink, for example, everyday office, this paper I think can live up quite a bit and not cause too many problems. So that's the Cambridge, often used by students, by the way. This one is called Tops. Again, this is the roughest of them all, a bit too rough. I was using a 1.1 stub and I felt like I was scratching the paper. There's no shimmering, the shimmer doesn't show up at all. And quite a bit of feathering and ghosting. So this Tops paper is probably the worst one of them all. I used this Mr. Pen. This was the most expensive one. Didn't notice the shimmer. It wrote really smooth, however, very thick stock, and no see-through, no ghosting, and no feathering at all. No wonder, though, it is the most expensive paper of the lot here. Then I have this Docket paper, and you have Docket Red and different categories. This one's cheap paper. Every day, you can see some slight feathering. You can see some ghosting. But again, this is paper to be used and tossed away. Not expensive at all, Docket. Then I have Amazon Basics, which is probably my favorite just because of the price. You hardly see the shimmer. There's very little feathering. It goes on thick, but it goes through. But at the price, I write on one side and skip the other side at the price, and you can get a lined version. You can get this grid version. I find the line version better quality for some reason than this grid. Is it because when they print the grid, it kind of weakens the paper? I'm not sure. But if you're going to compare the grid or the line version, I would get the line version. But there you have it. So those are my everyday kind of cheapy notebooks or notepads category, and I've tried them all this year. And of course, you want good paper, then you go to the Rhodia, you go to the A4 sized notepads that I showed you earlier. So there you have it. So folks, there you have it. Long video, but as I mentioned, this is meant to be consumed in pieces. There's timestamps. If you're interested in a notebook, you can find it probably in my 3-part series somewhere. I may mention it. And you know what? It's there. If you want to take a look at it, just a few seconds. Or no, I couldn't do a detailed swatching of each. It would take hours and hours and hours. But at least it gives you an idea of what's out there, and then you can do your own research. And if you have any questions and you want to ask me, Vince, I'm interested in that notebook, can you give me a little more detail? It would be a pleasure for me to kind of do the testing that you're asking me to do and give you the answer. How is that? Okay? Hope you enjoyed that, folks. Grazie molto. Thank you for joining me. And please subscribe. And fountain pen therapy for everyone, folks. Take care. Bye now.